to the many high-profile cases where the persons involved in these are granted temporary liberty or bail, many people are now asking how these can be made possible, especially since the charges filed against them are non-bailable.
For non-bailable offense, well, the accused can ask the court to post bail, but the prosecutor be asked by the court to produce strongest evidence. Otherwise, the court will grant the motion of the accused to post bail.
What many do not know is that bail can be a matter of right. Under Section 4 of Administrative Circular 1294's Rule on Bail, all persons in custody shall be admitted to bail as a matter of right before or after conviction by the Metropolitan Court or before conviction by the Regional Trial Court for an offense not punishable by death or life imprisonment.
Actually, bail is a security given for the release of the accused in the custody of law. It's either in the form of surety bond, property bond, cash bond, or recognizance.
Therefore, the court can grant an accused person temporary liberty or bail on the ground that the evidence against him or her is not strong enough, even if they are facing a non-bailable offense, which is the case for the 17 policemen allegedly involved in the 2009 Maguindanao massacre. This is also what happened to the 3 personalities charged with the illegal detention and assault on a male TV host. We then need to ask the following questions to understand the legalities involved in filing for bail. What is the process for filing for bail? Who should file for bail and where? How much is the amount set for bail? Good evening. You are watching Legal Help Desk on 9TV. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight, we will discuss your legal rights on the issue of bail, what you need to know about bail, and the process for filing for one.
Our guests for tonight are Judge J. Miguel, presiding judge of the Metropolitan Trial Court of Manila, Branch 11, and Attorney Claudette de la Serna, former Senior Associate of the Estelito Mendoza and Associates Law Firm. Good evening, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Good evening, Judge Jay and Attorney Claudette. Again, a very important topic that we're taking up tonight, bail, because I guess a lot of people are reading up on the news, what's happening.
And a lot of offenses recently that are of national interest have something to do with bail. Like, for instance, those cases filed against some of the public officers and senators.
Yes.
And then also some well-covered criminal cases like yung kila Cedric Lee. They also were able to get bail. So I guess we start off first. What is this concept of bail?
Bail simply means provisional liberty for an accused while his case is being tried. There are 4 kinds of bail: cash, property, surety, and recognizance. But before that, Attorney Rod, Attorney Karen, let me begin by saying that bail is constitutionally enshrined. It is provided in the Constitution that an accused has a right to bail. This is grounded on another constitutional provision which presumes the accused innocent until proven guilty. And therefore, bail should be available on the basis of this presumption of innocence.
And that's usually a lot of people's worry or misconception, where if they are accused of a certain crime, their assumption is that as soon as they get arrested, makukulong na sila agad. So,
which is true.
Yeah.
Which is what's happening in a lot of situations now, no?
But I guess this is where we need to clarify, like, if you get into that situation, for instance, someone files an estafa case against you, and you get arrested, so nakakulong ka na. When do you know if you can file, how do you know if you can file bail?
Actually, people ask you if they can file it before you get arrested.
Yes.
But all of us, I think, don't want to go through the humiliation of being arrested in public. So I think most of the questions, especially with this Estava, is regarding filing of bail before being arrested. But yeah, we get arrested first, and then
Yeah, so,
and
so
then
there's no way around it. You
well,
really
there
have to
is.
be...
There
you have to-
is.
oh, there is?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you know that there is a case against you, somebody
Okay.
filed something against you, then you can already go there and ask for bail.
Okay.
But then the reality is that we know that there's a complaint only when we get arrested or we get notice.
The warrant of arrest, no?
So that's when you file for your motion. To
Okay.
get-
So, essentially, again, to summarize, that's a good point, no? If you, to our viewers there, if you know that there's a warrant of arrest or you're about to be arrested, you can go to the court
Yes.
already and
Correct,
apply for bail.
Correct.
So how do they go about that? Let's talk about the process, no? Let's assume that, kasi for most viewers, yun ang worry nila, no? Na, let's say they know that there's a warrant of arrest, or let's say there's a charge na.
Sa complaint.
What is the process that they have to go through, Judge?
The process will be dependent on the nature of the offense. Meaning, what are you being charged with? If you are being charged with a capital offense, or if the imposable penalty is life imprisonment or reclusion perpetua, bail becomes a matter of discretion.
Okay, so
In
just
which-
as an example, Judge Jay, those that can be punished with life imprisonment would be murder, for instance?
Well, reclusion perpetua.
Or,
Well,
so,
to laymanize it.
Yeah, to laymanize
yeah,
it, yeah.
because when we say reclusion perpetua, it's so legalistic.
Yeah.
Those are the penalties imposed by the revised penal code, but it's actually just the number of years, right?
Yeah,
So,
kasi when you say perpetua, it sounds perpetual, eh.
forever.
Forever, diba? So, what is reclusion perpetua,
it's
for example?
20 years plus 1, right? 20 years plus 1 to 40.
Up to 40 years.
To 40
Alright.
years.
So, life imprisonment or reclusion perpetua are...
it becomes
It's
a matter.
similar because it's just the wording. Life imprisonment is usually used in special laws, no, not under the revised penal
So let's go
code.
back to Judge Jay. It becomes a matter of discretion. So,
In which case, a petition for bail has to be filed. In cases where bail is a matter of right, meaning the offense committed is not punishable by a capital offense or reclusion perpetua, and therefore the bail is discretionary, you can go straight to the court and post bail.
Now, when you say post bail, obviously it's very easy, no? Parang, let's post bail. But what is the exact process? Do I have to get a lawyer? For example, does a person have to get a lawyer in order to post bail, or can the person do it himself?
The person can do it himself, especially if he will be posting cash.
Cash.
Okay.
but that's kind of hard to imagine because nakakulong ka na nga eh. So,
Yeah.
If you're arrested, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Then
So
you need somebody to file it for you.
Yeah, wala mang access sa
because
ATM
someone
doon,
has
di
to
ba?
get money for you and then
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, so they have to of course have that money available and the judge decides on the amount.
There is this bail bond guide. There is this bail bond guide issued by the Department of Justice. Nakalagay na doon kung magkano pag ito yung crime, ito yung bail, no. But at the backdrop of this bail bond guide, these amounts is based, of course, on again another constitutional provision, no, that excessive bail, no, cannot be imposed. So yung bond guide na ito, guide lang talaga, no, kasi yung 50 peso cash bond, for example, to an accused suffering from abject poverty, mahirap sa kanya
Malaki yan.
i-produce yung 50 pesos. And therefore, if you insist that the accused posts a 50 peso bail, it may result into a denial of his right to bail.
So imagine like requiring, for instance, from a poor person
Correct.
a bail amount of 1 million pesos, then basically you're just denying
You're
the
denying.
the bail.
You're rendering.
Effectively denying
For
it.
instance, yung kay Cedric Lee, I think they posted, Cedric Lee, Denise Cornejo, they posted how much? Mga 2 million or 1.5
Each,
million pesos each.
Yeah.
Is that, according to the bail bond guide, is that something that is normal for the offenses they were charged with?
What were they charged with?
They were charged
They're
with
charged with, I think,
serious
serious illegal detention.
illegal detention, but of course the finding was that mahina yung kaso for serious illegal detention. That's why they were able to post bail.
In other words, I guess apart from the capability of the accused to pay, are there other circumstances that the
Ano
judge
yung
will take,
types of
take into
amounts
consideration?
are we talking about? For instance,
Maybe the risk also.
The risk,
risk
of
Yeah,
flight,
because
the risk of flight.
Because bail is security actually. It's security for you to appear, I mean for the accused to appear in subsequent trial days.
Yes.
So if the risk is high that this person has the capacity to go out to hide or whatever, then the risk would be higher, then the bail should be higher. Correct?
I'm curious about this bail bond guide and how much it really costs to post for bail. So for instance, if an accused were charged with estafa for 500,000 pesos, around how much would be the bail?
Again, I guess you'll have to go to the
For an
guide.
go to
average,
the
for an
guide.
average person.
I think the rule of thumb is it should not be less than
The amount.
Amount.
The amount
The
involved.
amount
So
bond.
it most likely it's also 500,000 pesos too.
Mga
Kung
simple-
ganun ka, ikaw yung accused, magbayaran mo na yung utang mo, di ba?
Di ba? It's the same with your
Yes,
So,
yes.
mga simple theft, mga ganyan, 10,000, 5,000.
Okay.
But then, for somebody who snatched your bag,
Yeah.
that's, di ba, kaya nga nag-snatch.
Yeah.
So, that,
Nangangailangan,
yeah,
nangangailangan.
so it would
Alright.
be really high for them already.
in fact sa theft, yung amount of yung value
Naninakaw.
Of
ng
the
property
property.
na ninakaw. Kung minsan 10 pesos, 20 pesos. Pero ang piyansa,
Yan sa 10,000.
10,000.
Maybe it has something to do with making sure then that they do not
Corrective, parang
Do it
corrective.
like that.
or di ba yung risk nga na magtago,
Yes.
but
Correct.
very interesting so far. Thank
Yep.
you, Judge Jay and Attorney Claudette. But for now, we'll have to take a short break. Legal Help Desk will return, so stay tuned. If someone you know has been charged with a crime and has landed in jail, oftentimes the first thing they want to do is to get out. When posting bail for temporary liberty, what you need to do is to prepare the bail. Bail is the security given, whether cash or cash equivalent, for the release of a person in custody of the law so that he can appear in court when ordered to do so.
Under the rules of court, bail is the security you post, meaning you, a detention prisoner, must post in order to be given temporary liberty. So the one who posts bail is a detention prisoner, nakakulong. And practically, dahil nakakulong siya, the one who will be processing it will be the friends or relatives who are outside because he is under detention.
Bail can be cash or check for the full amount of the bail, property worth the full amount of the bail, surety bond, a waiver of payment on the condition that the accused appear in court at the required time. Public prosecutors are responsible for filing for bail. If the accused or arrested person cannot afford the amount of bail, he or she can ask the judge to lower it by filing for a motion to reduce bail bond, or file a petition for bail on the ground that the evidence against him is not strong even if he or she is facing a non-bailable offense. We urge our viewers to avail themselves of the services of a lawyer when handling situations like these. You're still watching Legal Help Desk on 9TV with our guests, Judge J. Miguel and Attorney Claudette de la Serna.
All right, so we let's clarify first. No, we've had our first discussion on bail and yung non-bailable. They say non-bailable and bailable. Let's clarify again. No? As you mentioned earlier, Judge J. No, if it's a crime, if the accused is or a person is accused of crime, punishable by reclusion perpetua, it's non-bailable. right? Or right, non-bailable. And then if it's less than that, it's bailable. But can you clarify, because you mentioned earlier that non-bailable doesn't necessarily mean talagang really
And
non-bailable.
I think this is relevant especially with, for instance, some of the accused senators na ang kaso
Yeah.
nila plunder, which is labeled as non-bailable. They actually applied for bail.
So a lot of
And
people are
then,
confused with
again,
that.
balik tayo kila Cedric Lee na originally they were charged with a crime na non-bailable and then they were able to
Post bail.
Post bail.
bail.
So,
So,
yeah.
maraming nalito doon na paano nangyari yun? Or yung iba pa nga, may sinasabi, baka nalagyan yung judge. But then, it really goes into that concept. Kung non-bailable, you can still post for bail.
Yeah.
But perhaps, Judge Jay, you
Yeah.
can
Can
explain
you clarify
this.
that?
Yes, yung bail kasi should be properly denominated or distinguished as bail being a matter of right and bail being a matter of discretion. So as a general rule, bail is a matter of right if you are not charged with an offense where the imposable penalty is death or reclusion perpetua and the evidence of guilt is strong. If you are not charged with those,
With those,
offenses,
that's a matter of right.
matter of right.
Meaning, if you can
So, administrative lang yan.
Oo,
Correct.
if you can
Administrative lang.
post
Oo.
the bail,
Oo.
meaning kaya mong bayaran yung binigay na
In other words,
na bail, then you can...
Attorney
Wala nang
Karen,
petition hearing petition or hearing.
Wala
nang
na.
hearing for it.
Oo.
Oo.
Oo, kasi dahil matter of right siya, yung judge has no discretion not to grant bail.
Okay, got it. Okay, all right. Now, assuming it's the other way, meaning he's accused of a crime that's punishable by reclusion perpetua or death, ano yung
You file a
situation naman?
petition or
You
motion
file a petition.
for bail.
And I think at this point, this is when the judge will determine if the evidence of guilt is strong.
That is correct. That
Yun,
is
okay.
correct.
So, yun nga. So, malinaw yan sa mga televiewers natin, di ba? So, if it's not punishable by reclusion perpetua or death, matter of right, wala nang hearing. The judge has no choice but to grant you bail. But if you're charged of a crime punishable by reclusion perpetua or death, you have to go through a petition.
Correct.
A petition to apply for bail. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng non-bailable.
Yun na yung
And I think for
non-bailable.
the likes of Cedric Lee, the finding of the judge was that the evidence of guilt is not strong with respect to serious illegal detention.
Correct.
And I think this is where it comes in na
Yeah.
yung value ng bail because some people, what they do to make sure that nakakulong na yung tao na kalaban nila while
Yes.
the case is ongoing is that they make sure to file a crime na non-bailable.
Non-bailable.
Even if basically yung elements ng crime are bailable naman dapat.
So parating kina-qualify nila yung crime.
They make it higher, oo.
para
Plunder.
to be-
Oo, like
Laging
oo.
plunder instead of anti-graft,
Oo.
which is lower. No?
Right, right. So yun, so we're clear with that, no. So when we say non-bailable, it doesn't mean na hindi pwede mag-bail. Pwede pa rin mag-apply for bail. Ayan, okay. All right. So we have some questions from our viewers who asks, her name is Rhoda, is qualified theft bailable? Is there a specific amount involved that would make it non-bailable? Ayan. So maybe Attorney Claudette, would you be familiar with qualified theft?
Yeah, the Department of Justice set a limit. No? So I think the current limit is 220,000. So if
Right.
it's 220,000, the amount of the property that was the subject matter of the qualified theft is 220,000. It becomes non-bailable. But again, meaning only that you have the prosecution as the burden of proof to prove that evidence of guilt is strong. So they can still file.
Can still file.
Meaning, if you have, for instance, someone in trust, kunwari, your own secretary or your own kasambahay, pag ang ninakaw is more than 220,000 pesos, they can't file for bail if the evidence of guilt is strong.
They cannot.
Cannot.
Yeah.
Oo.
So,
Okay.
dito kami magkaiba ng definition ni Judge. Kasi syempre, I'm from the private practice,
Yes.
so we represent defendants. Right?
Defendants.
So,
Accused
for
normally,
us, for us, it's always a matter of right. So, you go there, you ask for bail, so you file, you move for bail. Then, it only becomes discretionary if the other party here would be the prosecution, would not be able to show that the evidence of guilt is strong based on the information that they filed or based on the complaint.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So,
We have another question from a viewer.
Pwede ba akong mag-file ng petition for bail kahit wala akong abogado?
Right.
Good question.
Question. I think we asked that earlier, no? Kung if a person can
Pag si
just
Attorney
file-
Claudette ang abogado mo, ipa-file niya talaga. Yun yung sabi niya kanina, all the time. Okay, Judge Jay.
Pwede naman. Kaya lang,
It's always best.
technical kasi yung pinag-uusapan sa korte. No? During a bail hearing, yung fiscal, yung prosecution will prove that the evidence of guilt is strong. On the other hand, yung akusado will likewise prove that the evidence of guilt is not strong. So kung nag-iisa ka lang doon, hindi ka legally educated, baka mahihirapan ka. So it is always best.
And also, the evidence being presented during the bail hearing is normally presented during the actual trial, di ba? The actual trial of the case. So it's important in a way that you're already represented by a lawyer.
During the bail hearing, ang ipipresent ng prosecution, magbibigay ang prosecution ng mga ebidensya. Ito yung mga ebidensya ko para ipapatunayan that the evidence of guilt is strong. So ang sasabihin naman ng akusado, itong ebidensya na ito, hindi ito masyadong mabigat. No? Hindi ito dapat papaniwalaan. Hearsay ito, etc. etc. If you are not represented by a counsel and you are not properly or you are not legally educated, mahihirapan ka.
All right. Okay. Now from Angela, what are my options if I can't afford the bail ordered by the judge for my brother's release? The bail is set at 230,000 pesos. Medyo mabigat, no? So,
There are remedies naman.
Anong remedies dyan?
So you can ask for reduction,
You can.
reduction
Okay.
of bail. So may mga conditions, yun, financial capability and all that.
That asking, does it have to be on paper? Does it have to be in a
Yes.
pleading form? Or
It has to
can
be
it
on
just be
paper.
verbally said? Or,
Well, no, because it's a
Makikiusap lang.
motion,
motion,
so it's a motion, so you have to file something,
So,
and then the judge.
so we're really looking at here a situation wherein during the hearing, the petition for bail, no, hearing, it could last for several days or
Days.
weeks,
Correct.
right? So it could be possible that the person will have to be detained for quite a while, right?
Well,
Correct.
yeah, but it should be summary.
Summary,
It should be summary.
summary
It should
in
be
nature.
fast. No, because of the nature of the because you're detained, which is a very important right, not to be detained, right?
Yes.
So, Chief Justice Serrano issued a memorandum recently, parang 48 hours, you have to decide already, parang mga time limits.
To make sure that
To make
it's
sure that it's fast,
Mm-hmm.
the congestion din, kasi punong-puno na yung jails natin with detainees.
Okay.
Yeah. But we have another question from a viewer.
Ano ang mga requirements para mag-grant ang petition for bail?
Okay.
Si Judge.
So whether
We went
yeah.
through some of the requirements earlier,
ah.
diba? One, you really have to file a petition for bail if it's discretionary. And then
And then
of
you
course,
have
you have to have the money for it.
Correct. And you have, first and foremost, you have to be able to prove that the evidence of guilt is not strong.
And the burden of proof for that
It's on the prosecution.
is on the prosecution.
Always
So
on the
dun sa
prosecution.
nagbibintang, okay.
So dapat i-prove mo din na yung ebidensya ng prosecution is not strong.
So we're still consistent with the principle that the innocent, a person is presumed innocent before being
Correct. That's why the burden is always on the
Yeah.
prosecution.
All right. Okay, we have another question from a viewer.
Bakit may mga tao nakakapagpiyansa kahit non-bailable ang kaso?
Yan yung kanina pa na talagang it's a common question as soon as yun nga yung for me yung pinaka-recent incident talaga with Cedric Lee
Yeah.
and
So again, let's-
Denise Conejo and those people.
Kasi mali kasi talaga yung denomination.
Yung meaning yung
Yung
tawag doon sa term na
non-bailable.
non-bailable. Nakakalito nga naman.
Parang
because-
final siya masyado.
Yeah.
Non-bailable.
So actually, I guess the more appropriate term should be discretionary bail, no?
Yung bail being a matter of right, bail being a matter of discretion.
Right. Oo. But I guess to answer our viewers' question, that's a misnomer or parang wrong label kasi as Judge Jay said, hindi nangangahulugan na bawal mag-bail if the term is non-bailable because actually what happens is that it
The
is a
judge
matter
exercises
of
the discretion.
Oh, you still check kung malakas yung ebidensya against them, di ba? All right. So yun. So we clarify that non-bailable does not mean non-bailable.
Oo. So as Attorney Claudette advised here, kung feeling nyo lalo ay mahina yung evidence, you should apply for bail because the judge will then review the case and make a finding if the evidence of guilt is strong, and if not, then bail can be posted. Okay. So very helpful so far, and lalo na dun sa point na bakit ba may nakapag-bail kahit non-bailable. But for now, we'll have to take another short break. Legal Helpdesk will return after these messages. You're still tuned in to Legal Helpdesk on 9TV with our guests, Judge J. Miguel and Attorney Claudette de la Serna.
Okay, so let's maybe discuss naman the ways, no, the various ways to post bail kasi it's not just cash, no. I think Karen and I were discussing off-air.
And some people are always have said that
like,
yung bail na yan pang mayayaman lang because again, you're talking about money. So one, maybe Judge J, you can give us an insight as to whether the amounts are vary or they take into consideration yung condition nga or yung financial capacity ng person that is accused.
Other than cash bail, meron tayong property, surety, and recognizance.
Okay, can you explain each one?
Yung
Judge?
property must be real property, not personal property.
So hindi pwedeng kotse, for
Hindi
example.
pwedeng alahas,
Cellphone.
hindi pwedeng kotse,
Hindi ka pwedeng parang
Dapat
nagsasanla. Kailangan
real
talagang
estate.
lupa or
That's
bahay.
named under the accused's name.
Pwede rin sa ibang tao,
Pwede
basta't
sa
yung
iba.
tao ang...
Is willing.
Yes. We have surety bond. Pag surety bond, ang binabayaran mo lang is the premium. Siguro mga nasa 5 to 15%
Of the amount.
of the amount
of
of
the bail.
No.
So pero kung 1 million yun, 50,000 pa rin yun, di ba?
Correct. Oo.
So-
Oo. Merong mga surety bonds, mababa yung premium.
And this surety bonds, you get it from bonding companies or parang insurance
Yes,
companies.
yes.
Surety companies.
Accredited.
Accredited.
They have to be accredited.
Accredited by the
Accredited
court.
by the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So basically, insurance to, you're paying the premium to the surety company, and the surety company is guaranteeing to the court, okay,
That you
this
will appear.
accused will appear
Correct.
during trial, correct? And we'll have to produce the body in a way.
Yeah, and if
Yes.
the accused does not appear, it's the surety company who will pay the bail.
So at this point,
And then have
it
the
depends
person
on the
arrested.
surety company if they will grant your application to get the bond from them.
So at least if you don't have, for example, it's 1 million yung bail, no, yung cash bail. Kung 1 million yon and you can't afford it, at the very least you can probably go to a surety company, pay the premium,
Correct.
but you can't get back the premium, di ba?
No more.
Now, it's a bail, yung cash,
Pag cash,
you can get it back
Correct.
if later on you're found
Acquitted.
innocent,
Yes.
you're acquitted, right?
In fact, usually pag cash bail, mag-move ka for the reduction, ginagrant ng court
Yeah,
50%.
if it's cash.
No, ginagrant yung
Naman
50%.
ginagrant.
And then you
Okay.
can get it back.
Okay.
Yung recognizance naman,
Yeah, recognizance is the
yung
fourth one.
recognizance, parang ang sinasabi lang ng recognizance, doon sa third person, o ikaw bahala dyan ha, paapirin mo yan dito. I-release ko yan under your recognizance. Pag ni-require ng court na mag-appear yung accused, ikaw ang mananagot kung hindi siya mag-appear. Kaya hindi masyadong nagagamit
Hindi
kasi
Kasi kailangan-
natatakot yung mga tao na because they will be responsible to the court in the event that the accused fails
What
to
kind of
appear.
responsibility? Do they have to face the same penalty that the accused would have faced? That if I nag-recognizance ako sa isang accused,
Yes.
do
Is
I
it
have to...
a matter of being financially liable or do you have to, or will you get charged with an offense?
The court, you will lose your credibility to
Your
the court.
reputation. And there's a
Lose your
fine
credibility.
also.
There's a fine.
Yeah, there's
Okay, mas mabigat siguro yung fine more. For others, maybe the fine more than the reputation. And then, of course, another very important concern would be really having the accused appear in court and not escape. So, if, for instance, you're an accused and you file for bail and you fail to appear, what's gonna happen?
if prior to arraignment, the accused jumps bail, of course, he will not be arraigned. Kasi
Judge, maybe clarify, ano yung arraignment?
ang arraignment is a stage in a criminal proceeding where the accused is read of the charges.
Formally read
And
the
this is
charges.
when, Attorney Claudette, you can describe na nagsasabi sila kung guilty or
Or
not.
that. So the accused has to be physically present in court.
In court,
That's why
during arraignment.
during arraignment, and then the judge asks them, "How do you plead? Guilty or based on these accusations against you? Ano ang masasabi mo? Ginawa mo ba o hindi? Guilty or not guilty?" And then the accused has to say guilty or not guilty.
Okay,
whatever.
so if it's prior
So
to
it's-
this arraignment hearing,
The
what
court
are the
forfeits the bail and
Okay.
issues another warrant for your
Warrant.
arrest.
Okay. So in other words, if you are granted bail by the court, whether it's discretionary or yung non-discretionary, it doesn't mean that it's forever or parang does it mean that you're granted bail for the entirety of the proceedings up until let's say Supreme Court yan or
Up until the promulgation with the regional trial court.
okay,
Before
so
the
that bail is
regional
only up to
trial
that
court.
point.
And
Alright.
of course, even if dun pa lang sa first hearing, yung arraignment hearing, hindi ka na sumipot, then it
It's-
is
it's
for...
gone. It's
Basta dapat
forfeited.
sinusunod mo lang yung undertaking mo. Your undertaking is
To
to
show
appear
up.
to the court
every time there's a trial.
whenever required.
But if you're just absent, you're not naman, hindi ka naman lumipad or you're here, you were just absent.
Your lawyer has to go there and explain
Okay.
why
But
you're absent.
can the trial proceed with in absentia?
Yan na yung second
Second.
classific or second yung after arraignment, no?
after arraignment,
After arraignment at hindi ka sumipot. After arraignment at hindi ka sumipot, yung bail mo will not necessarily be forfeited.
Okay, there you
Will
go.
not necessarily be
So it's only
forfeited.
forfeited before arraignment.
Kasi yung non-appearance mo after arraignment, or meaning during trial, is an express waiver of your right to be present. Yun lang yung ibig sabihin noon. Ang diferensya, kasi usually during the initial presentation of prosecution's evidence, the prosecution witness will have to identify the accused. So nire-require din yung physical presence ng accused
I see.
so that he will be actually identified by the prosecution witness.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Judge, and Attorney Claudette, we still have some questions from our viewers. Norman is asking, is there such a thing as bail refund?
I
think what he means is that
if they can get
They
it
can
back.
get it
back.
So
Yeah.
for
Release na.
the property, of course, can be returned to you once the case is either you're acquitted or the case is dismissed. Babalik yung property mo. Yung may annotation doon, buburahin.
But it's a property naman, you don't physically give it.
It's
just
just
a
the
lien.
title.
It's
Yeah,
just
on
a
the
lien, no?
title.
Oh.
So, kung cash bond, yun yung pwedeng ibalik sa'yo. Pero may bawas yun ng konti, ng mga administrative fees. Yun.
Okay.
Pero kung surety, yun ang walang maibabalik sa'yo talaga.
Oo, because if you're really
Binayad mo na
paying
siya.
the insurance company, it's
Bayad
not...
kasi
oo.
yun hindi siya deposito.
Yeah. But then
Bayad.
again, ang laki ng discount mo rin. You're only paying usually 5% of the value
But if
of
it's
the bail.
20,000, it's only good for 4 months, for example.
So you have
Then
to
you have to
pay
renew it again another 4 months. Or if just 30 days, kasi some...
ganun ang surety.
Yeah, some
Oo.
surety.
Okay.
And
Alright.
also, if you're talking about bail refund, kunwari, you really want to sell the property that you posted as bail, and can it happen na, sige, ikulong nyo na lang ako because mas kailangan ng family ko gamitin yung property. Can that happen, Judge
Well,
Ray,
kung
or
ang
Attorney
gustong
Claudette?
bumili nun, kasi sasama yung
Subject to the lien.
lien, di ba? Sasama siya dun sa
Yes.
property. Kung yung bibili naman, gusto, okay lang sa kanya.
Oo. Pero kung hindi, can that happen that you just voluntarily agree to go to prison pending trial because you cannot post bail and you don't have property to give us a bond?
Ibig sabihin, nag-bail ka using
Oo.
property, then you want to
Use
have
that
your property released.
Exactly.
No, pwede siguro tatanggalin na yung lien katapos
Palit.
magpapakulong ka na.
Pakulong na.
We have another question from a viewer.
Pag nag-file ng petition for bail ang isang akusado, pwede ba itong ma-deny?
All right. So, yun,
Yeah, so again,
because
babalik
it's discretionary, the nature of
tayo. If bail is a matter of discretion, hindi pwedeng i-deny. Kasi, if bail is a matter of right, hindi pwedeng i-deny. Kasi right nga, no? Meaning, ang offense mo, hindi capital or hindi life imprisonment. Ngayon, kung life imprisonment yung offense, and the evidence of guilt is strong, or capital offense and the evidence of guilt is strong, pwede talagang ma-deny.
Okay, all right. And lastly, we have from Laura. Laura is asking, I have a cousin who I'm financially supporting for her legal battle against an estafa case that was filed against her. She told me that she needed to renew her bail as it will expire soon, a year after the first posting. Can you tell me whether a bail has expiration or not, and if one really needs to renew it on a yearly basis?
So yun na
Yeah.
yun.
Yeah, yun.
If it's a surety bond,
Surety bond,
then it always has a period. So
I
it
see.
depends on your usapan with the surety.
So that's why if it's surety, you're hoping that the case
can
kinda
go fast.
goes fast.
That's
It
why
gets resolved fast.
sometimes it's more expensive kasi if it's a short period lang, like 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, the case can go on
But if it's
for-
cash, though, may
If
renewal
it's
ba yun? Or
cash, there's no renewal.
there's no renewal. Okay. Unless, of course, if it's on appeal na.
Yun,
Unless
there's
the
cancellation.
judge orders an increase in the bail. Or
pwede
pwedeng i-decrease.
So basically, as Judge Jay was saying earlier, once you post bail, it is meant to last until the promulgation of the judgment, meaning hanggang
Before
maging
the
final
regional
to
trial
doon
court.
sa...
For the regional trial. Kasi if the regional trial court confirms that you are guilty, you have to file bail again, right?
Correct.
And the
That's
court now will
discretionary.
set another
Depende
bail.
na uli ngayon. Depende na uli ngayon kung capital offense or not.
Okay.
Kung capital offense, unnecessary na. Kasi ang ipoprove mo sa petition is the evidence of guilt is not strong. Meron ka ng conviction
May
sa
conviction
regional
na.
trial court. So, hindi na siya talaga matter
Yeah,
of
may
discretion.
merits na yun eh.
No,
okay,
kasi
so,
meron ng finding
Meron ng-
yung regional trial court that the evidence of guilt is strong. In fact, hindi lang yun. You were proven beyond
Be guilty.
reasonable doubt.
by the regional
Yeah.
trial court. So
Based
in that
on the
case,
regional
hindi na
trial court.
discretionary.
Hindi na discretion.
So ano ka na, madidetain ka na nun.
Correct.
During appeal, usually naka-detain.
And if you get detained, then will the regional trial court return the bail that you posted?
For cancellation, yes.
Okay.
Again, if it's cash, depending on the kind.
Okay.
Okay, so really, that's very helpful information coming from Judge Jay and Attorney Claudette. They really clarified a lot of issues, lalo na yung
Yeah.
non-bailable na pwedeng mag-bail.
Yeah, maraming questions sa mga televiewers natin regarding that. I think we've been able to clarify that today. So,
Yes, and
Alright.
of course, some of the tips from both of our guests.
Yes.
Pagka
Tips.
from Attorney Claudette, always file
File
for
lang ng file.
Oo, file for bail because again, according to Judge Jay, even if it's a non-bailable offense, it is a matter of discretion. So the judge will review the evidence to see if the guilt,
And if
evidence of guilt is strong.
you're accusing someone and you want him jailed, dapat on a Friday, right?
Yeah, so that they will be
by
detained for
practice.
2 days.
By
By
prac-
practice, it's
by
being
practice, yun
done.
na nangyari.
Yes,
Yun na
by
nangyari.
Kaya meron na
practice.
kaming night courts saka Saturday courts.
Okay, so yun.
Even
okay.
for bail, especially
So,
for
balik
bail.
rin na, pagka naman prosecution ka or ikaw yung nagdemanda, make sure that you prove evidence of guilt, that it is strong to make sure na hindi makapag-bail. Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you again, Judge J. Miguel and Attorney Claudette de la Serna. Legal Helpdesk will be back, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Legal Helpdesk on 9TV. And today we had a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
Because
I like this
it is
topic.
yes.
Because it's almost all my friends, mga non-lawyers who ask me about it, right? They're always
Yeah.
curious about bail. and-
Especially in light of recent events. I've had
Yeah.
people ask me, how come yung mga senators daw that were accused of plunder were still filing petitions for bail, even if plunder is non-bailable. So again, yun nga. Tapos I kept mentioning also the case of Cedric Lee and his co-accused, pati sila Denise Cornejo, just because it was also very controversial when they were granted the right, basically, the ability to post bail because again, the crimes that they were charged with were non-bailable offenses. And for the benefit of our viewers, we were discussing with Judge J. Miguel earlier that non-bailable does not necessarily mean that bail is prohibited or not allowed. It only means that bail becomes a matter of discretion. So if the offense charged is punishable by either reclusion perpetua or death, these are crimes katulad ng murder, for instance, bail becomes a matter of discretion because the accused will not be able to post bail if the evidence of guilt is strong. Meaning, the opposite of that is if the judge finds that the evidence of guilt is not strong, then they can still post bail.
Yeah. So again, to clarify nga, as mentioned by Attorney Karen, no? So in a way, the misnomer nga sinabi ni Judge J, no, na sinasabing non-bailable because it is a matter of right. Bail is a matter of right. So for those crimes that are not punishable by reclusion perpetua or death, immediate yun, meaning you can immediately apply for bail, you can immediately post bail. Alright? Pero yung sinabi nga ni Attorney Karen, for those that are medyo high, yung mga capital punishment crimes, yan, you have to apply and go through petition. So there are 4 types of bail. There's a cash bond that you have to pay, no, the exact amount. And then, yan naman, na-negotiate yan, yung amount. No? And of course, you have property. So a property bond, you can offer that as bail. You can tap a surety company that will post the bail for you, and you have to pay a premium. That's non-refundable. And then there's recognizance, which is not often used, but it's still part of our criminal
meaning
process.
It's a person
Yes.
that will guarantee to the court that you will appear before the court for your trials. And the value of posting bail is that basically you can have your freedom while the trial is ongoing. Because again, no matter how serious the offense is, you're not considered as guilty until you're proven guilty, meaning until the trial ends and the judge makes a finding based on all the evidence, whether you're guilty or not. So in the meantime, while trial is ongoing, there are some offenses that usually provide that while the trial is ongoing, the accused will already be in prison. But again, if you're able to post bail, then you will have freedom while the trial is ongoing. But there are several factors that are considered when the judge determines how much bail should be posted. And this includes the financial condition of the accused. As our judge kanina, Judge Jay, was saying, of course, magkakaiba yung mga financial conditions ng mga tao. If you have someone who is not very wealthy, then a bond, a bail that is only 5,000 pesos can cost a lot of money. But someone that is financially capable might require a higher bond because, again, this is something that is meant to ensure that the accused will not flee, will not go into hiding, and will appear for the whole duration of the trial.
Yes. All right. Okay, so we hope we've clarified all your questions regarding bail. We know this is a wide topic and we can't cover everything in an hour. But certainly, if you have any questions, please do message us on our Facebook page or Twitter. Now, over the week, we've received some comments and questions from our viewers on topics we have previously discussed. Gary tweeted, is there a particular limit of amount of money involved in order to mandatorily go through barangay conciliation? So we did talk about barangay justice system last
during
week.
Our last episode.
Yes, and I think that the rule is, for the regional trial court has a particular amount that will be applicable in their jurisdiction.
Yes, and also if the amount involved does not exceed 400,000 pesos, then this is something that is within the jurisdiction of the municipal trial courts. And right now, if it's within the jurisdiction of the municipal trial courts and the parties, meaning the complainant and the respondent, are living in the same city or municipality, then they are required to undergo barangay conciliation proceedings first.
Yeah, so the magic number is 400,000. All right, so
Generally, oo. But then you can also check dun sa regulations because sometimes meron ding specific limits dun mismo sa barangay. For instance, pagka estafa or theft wherein sila yung may jurisdiction or kundi diretso na sa court. Okay. There's another question from Michael who posted on our Facebook page. What are my options to further take legal actions against the respondent when after an agreed schedule for money owed to be settled in the barangay is not fulfilled? So basically here, they agreed at
They
the
agreed
barangay level and then hindi finulfill yung pinag-usapan nila.
I know the barangay has particular rights in taking over some of your property, but if let's say that's not also feasible, you can go to the court already.
So basically, that's why you call it barangay conciliation proceedings. It's because it's an alternative to having a judgment from a court. So usually that's why you have conciliation or mediation or arbitration, meaning you agree among yourselves as to a settlement amount or what you will do to basically settle
that,
your dispute. But then if it is not followed, then you can go to court. And in this case, I think a barangay certificate to file action will be given because you already underwent the barangay conciliation proceedings.
Get a certificate from the barangay that you've gone through the process in the barangay. So that then when you go to the municipal trial court, for example, they can take cognizance and take jurisdiction on your case. No? All right. Moving on to the comments we received. Humi posted on Facebook. Cheers to Legal Helpdesk for a very helpful and informative program. I have watched many episodes and I will watch many more for as long as the show goes on. Thank you very much, Humi. Thank you.
That's a very sweet message.
Yes.
And lastly, from Bernice, sometimes it helps to put your books down and see how the law is applied. Reviewing for finals with Legal Helpdesk episode on succession.
There you go.
So I think we're helping a law student in this case. So thank you for that comment, Bernice.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you continue watching Legal Helpdesk, of course. That's all the time that we have for tonight. Unfortunately, we'd like to thank our viewers for sending in your questions via our social media pages. I'm attorney Rod Nepomuceno.
And I'm attorney Karen Jimeno. If you have any questions on our topic for tonight, post these on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Join us again next Monday as we discuss your legal rights. Good night.